Hi everyone, this is Emma Darcy from MED Marketing. I am here today to talk to you about LinkedIn. And basically, I'd first of all like to apologize because yesterday I did a webinar on LinkedIn and how it can grow your business. And unfortunately, my software wasn't connecting to Google Hangouts correctly, and people could not sign in. Rather, some people could, but very few. And apologies for that. So this basically is a replay. So I will start from the scratch and I will go through the whole presentation and hopefully it'll be of help to you. So I suppose first off, I'll just dive right in and basically I will talk to you around LinkedIn and how it can help you and how it has helped me. And I suppose first of all, what I'll do is I'll just talk a little bit about kind of who I am. And obviously the webinar is about LinkedIn. So I'll tell you about what LinkedIn is. I'll speak particularly about your profile picture because that's so important across all of your social media. Really, really important that you've got a good quality picture. And also about filling out your profile on LinkedIn, which is obviously really, really important as well. Okay, a little bit about my story, just briefly, just so you get to know myself. Basically, I'm Emma Darcy from MED Marketing. I've rebranded more recently, and so I'm with MED Marketing, and essentially I am waiting for my website. So if you're going looking for my website, be aware that it's not available until the end or probably middle of March. So just going back to early on, I grew up on a farm, and because of growing up on a farm by its nature, it's kind of entrepreneurial because you're buying and selling hay and straw, you're buying and selling cattle and horses and so on. So I suppose really from an early age, I learned how to deal with people, how to sell a product that is a quality product, how to price certain products, because if you call cattle or horses, they're not necessarily obviously a product, they're an animal, but they're being sold for different reasons and there's different reasons people are buying them, and how do you portray that your animal will suit the buyer. So I suppose I learned an awful lot, believe you me, in terms of buying and selling when I was growing up until I was about 18 when I left home. So I suppose that's when I started off buying and selling and learning about the whole aspect of being an entrepreneur. I then went on and worked quite significantly in the bloodstock industry. I worked as a veterinary horse nurse as well. And it says buying drugs there, but essentially what I'm referring to is the fact that when I worked as a veterinary nurse, which I did for a couple of years, I essentially would have been responsible for the buying of all of the equipment for surgery, for the drugs, yes, for the horses, also for dealing with clients, for dealing with the horses themselves. So I suppose really it was a great experience because you got to meet loads of people, a cross section of society from the very rich to the very poor. Believe it or not, quite a lot of poor people, if you want to call them that, have horses as well because they love them. And so you get to meet a lot of people, you get to deal with a lot of people, and always throughout all of my career, no matter where I've worked, I've always been somewhat involved with buying and selling of something. So I worked as a veterinary nurse for approximately 3 years. And I also then went to work for Lidl, or Lidl Ireland, the supermarket chain. And I worked for them for 3 years as well. And I worked in sales to start with, and then I was promoted to purchasing. And I would have been, in fact, in charge of all of the purchasing for Ireland back in 2003, 2004. And that was a significant responsibility in terms of you're buying for, I think it was approximately 50 stores at the time in Ireland. There was only one warehouse, so I got a lot of warehousing experience, buying and selling experience, dealing with suppliers in Europe, Germany, Italy, a lot of the different countries in Europe. I used my German language skills. I learned an awful lot working for Lidl Ireland, and in particularly merchandising, the retail industry in general. I also would have done a round the world trip at one point where I went to Australia, New Zealand, Fiji. I was in the Grand Canyon, went to Vegas, basically Canada, had basically very, very good time. You can see here I went whitewater rafting, which is pretty cool. Went down a 7 meter drop in the South Island in New Zealand. It's supposed to be one of the biggest drops in whitewater rafting in the world. So I had a wonderful, wonderful time there. And I suppose that shows kind of my risk-taking side. And I suppose that's all part of being an entrepreneur in terms of getting involved in different things and going traveling and trying new things. A lot of my roles as well in terms of my career then have been like marketing research executive, doing surveys, doing market research for different companies. I've really been involved as a saleswoman. or salesperson in retail, online and offline. So I have significant experience in that aspect of business as well. And I suppose really I've done things slightly backwards in that in 2006 I went back to the University of Limerick and I did a business degree with German, and directly after that I went and did a master's in marketing. So I suppose really what I'm trying to say is I've really good experience in business in general, through retail, through agriculture, through bloodstock industry, through marketing research, a lot of different sales roles as well. And equally, I have an academic background in that I have a degree and I have a master's in marketing as well. And funny enough, the university that I did my degree and master's in, they asked me back to do marketing with them. So I've been working with them continuously on a retainer basis since I finished with them, which has been great, really, really wonderful, and a good accolade for me as well. You can see here I'm also a mompreneur. So basically I'm an entrepreneur who's also a mom, and that's my little daughter, Olivia. Also just a little bit of media coverage. As I said earlier, my business has recently changed from Integral Marketing to M&D Marketing. And there's nothing wrong with Integral Marketing as a name, but essentially people remembered me as a person. And so I changed the name of my business to M&D Marketing. Obviously my name is Emma Darcy, so I just changed it to M&D Marketing just because people remembered it. That's all. There's nothing wrong with Integral Marketing. I still use it with one or two clients, but essentially I want to become more personable. I'm now more of a business coach and marketing coach, and I'm just changing as I evolve into my entrepreneurial role, I suppose. Also, as I said earlier, I was very, very involved with horse sales and, horses in general. I would have been very involved with the selling of horses. You can see here, this is in Kentucky and Keeneland. I would have worked in a lot of horse sales here in Ireland, the UK and the States. And essentially what that meant was that I had to, and I freelanced. So I suppose which that meant was I worked for a lot of different people. Meant early mornings. It meant people getting to know me. It meant, as in the people that were buying, also the people that were selling, but essentially the people that were buying, in that they got to trust me. They got to understand that I understood horses. I understood what they were looking for. And frequently what I found was when people would come down, they'd have a catalogue. If you're not familiar with horse selling, they'd have a catalogue and they come down to the vendor I would be working for. And they would say, I want to see this horse, this horse, this horse, based on their breeding and how well, their mother had won races and whatnot, and they were the horses they wanted to see. But equally, as they got to know me, they equally got to understand that I understood the racing industry, and they would ask me for my opinion. Is there anything else here that I should look at? Because essentially, if you're looking for a racehorse, you're looking for an athlete. And with the best will in the world, they might have the best breeding, but the horses might not be good on the racetrack. And a horse that hasn't the best breeding or the most popular breeding at any one point in time might actually be the best horse because they're an athlete. So frequently what I used to find was people trusted me, they got to know me, and that I was able to position the horse and speak to people and make sales kind of on my own reputation. So I suppose really what I'm trying to say is your reputation is very, very important in business, that people trust you. And when they trust you, they'll buy from you, So that's really, really important skill and knowledge that I've learned over the years, no matter what industry I've been working in. If it's retail, people need to understand that they can trust you. Equally, if you're in the bloodstock industry or whatever industry it is, that you learn these skills, and they are transferable then to digital marketing in terms of how you position yourself on digital marketing as well. And that's really what we're talking about today. It's about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your CV online. And essentially, it's about understanding how to market yourself online as a professional on LinkedIn. Okay, so I suppose first of all, I'd like to talk about integrated marketing communications. And what that means is that, yes, you probably are on a few different social media platforms and you do different things with your business in terms of putting yourself out there. And an integrated marketing communications plan is really, really important, because what you've got to understand is that, customers will buy from you typically after seeing your brand or your business name at least 7 times, So what that means is that you've got constantly to be pushing your name out there so that people remember to buy from you. They learn to trust you. They learn to trust who you are, to understand what you do. And the way you can do that is through multiple channels, through public relations, sales promotion, personal selling, event marketing and sponsorship. You've direct response like email marketing, digital marketing, which we'll be talking about today in terms of LinkedIn. You've got advertising, you've got networking. There's so many different aspects of marketing your business. And the whole point of this term is that it's all integrated. There's no one platform that works. It's really an integration of a few or many, depending on your business. So I think it's really important that people understand this, and that on that basis, we're going to focus on today is the digital interactive communications. And for today, obviously, LinkedIn and what that can do for you. So again, when you're looking at your digital marketing, you're looking at blogging, you're looking at forums, you're looking at news, you're looking at web releases, image and video, directory marketing, social media marketing, search engine. There's so much involved, and this is again part of the whole integration marketing communications. So I'd urge you all really to look at your objectives, your business objectives, and decide where you want to go, what you want to do, what you need to achieve, what are your goals. Is it a case that you want to earn an extra 20,000 this year? Do you want to reach an overall six-figure number? Or is it particular products that you want to push out? Or what is it you want to do? And when you've decided that, go back to your integrated marketing communications and decide what you need to do to achieve your goal. And then as part of that integrated marketing communications, you're looking at social media, at website, about digital. And obviously today, as I said, we'll focus on LinkedIn. And really, what you've got to understand is LinkedIn is a platform. It's a platform for people to understand who you are and what you stand for, and that it can greatly increase your revenue. If you look at a lot of salespeople at the moment, they're really using LinkedIn in a very smart and effective way to increase their revenue for themselves and equally for their companies. And the way they're doing that is by building relationships online with people. A couple of things just to keep in mind are how, LinkedIn and how other social media influence consumer behavior. And first of all, you've got to look at how a customer views your product or service. And the first thing is the awareness of your product or service. So number one, awareness of your product or service, and how they become aware of it is through marketing. What we've just been talking about, integrated marketing communications. So maybe you've done radio ads, maybe you've been speaking on the radio, maybe you've got an article written about you in the paper, maybe you're doing a lot on social media. Whatever it is you're doing, that you are making people aware of your product or service, and that is really the primary aspect of marketing, really. I always give the example in my workshops that basically if you have a house in a field with no road to it, how can people get there? How will they know that you're there? It is the same thing with your business. If you don't market yourself on different platforms, people won't know you're there, and therefore they won't be able to buy from you. So it's really important that you have an integrated marketing communications plan, and that part of that is LinkedIn, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So you can make your product and service, make people aware of your product or service on LinkedIn. And the first thing they're going to do is look at information acquisition. So really what that's about is figuring out what product or service that you sell, what is it about, what does it entail. So this is from the customer's point of view, what kind of information will they be looking for, and that you provide it. And this is where it's important that you fill out your profile, that you have a good profile picture on LinkedIn, because people will go to your LinkedIn profile and they will acquire information about you. And if they're happy with that, they will come back to you and buy from you. If they're not, they will go to the next person. So it's very important that you understand kind of the sequence of events in terms of selling online or in general. People also look at opinions. They look at their own opinion, but equally they refer to other people's opinions. So their peers, their family, influencers in their lives. So for example, if I'm selling a marketing program and somebody's interested in it, and if they ask a previous participant what they think, if that person gives a poor review of me, the person that's interested won't buy from me typically, Whereas if they give a positive review of me, of course, they're more likely to buy. So people do seek, when they're looking to buy a product or service, your customer will look to their influencers, their family, their friends for their opinions. In an instance where they can't refer to their family and friends or their peers, what they'll do is, particularly with LinkedIn, is you can put recommendations or ask people to recommend you on LinkedIn. On Facebook, for example, you can do reviews, and they will refer to these opinions. Your future client, your future customer will go to the recommendations and they will look at other people's opinions, and then that will help them form their opinion, so that's a really important aspect as well. Attitudes as well is very important in terms of your consumer or your customer, client, whatever you want to call them, their attitudes. in terms of life in general? Can you understand them? Where are they coming from? What do they need? Can you provide that? Are you providing a solution to their problem? Purchasing behavior then in general is looking about the whole sequence of events, the product life cycle. All those aspects of marketing and customer buyer behavior are really important to understand. And also one that's completely forgotten in many regards is post-purchase communication. What this is about is if you sell a product, if you sell a service, that there's a follow-up to people. So there's a thing called cognitive dissonance, right? And it's a fancy word for saying that people are sorry they bought something. It's buyer's remorse, basically. So if you've ever bought a dress or a car or even a house or something, and you said, dear God, why did I buy that? And to stop people feeling like this, because people will start to question why they bought something. We all do it. You need to reiterate the qualities of your product or service, why they're buying it, how important it is that they're investing themselves, all those sorts of things. So when I worked in sales, for example, we used to, at the end of the sales talk, and somebody bought from me, I would then speak again. You bought a fantastic item today. You bought a fantastic service. I hope you understand, that you're investing in yourself. That this product will do X, Y, and Z, and give them at least three examples of why it was good for them to buy your particular product or service. And what you find is that later on, when somebody says to them, why did you buy that car? Why didn't you buy something else? Why did you buy that service? Why didn't you buy from this other person? They will have ready-made answers for their peer to say, well, actually, it's really good quality. If it's a car, it does, it conserves fuel, whatever it is. And they have really good reasons why they bought that particular product or service. And so to stop people having buyer's remorse, have post-purchase communication, be it by email, by phone, or even before the person leaves your shop, that you say to them, that's been terrific. I'm so glad that you bought that because, it does X, Y, and Z for you. It's really, really good item, that sort of thing. Really, really important. And also to understand, that people do evaluate what they've bought. And if you're looking to upsell, as in for people to buy from you again, it's very important that you understand this whole process in terms of how people evaluate you and, how they kind of go about deciding whether they're going to buy from you. Okay? So the other thing to understand as well is that, search is so important, so even if you don't have a business card, really people just go online, they are looking to find you. So when I'm looking for a plumber, if I'm looking for a marketing person, if I'm looking for an accountant, I just simply go online and I Google for them. If they're not online, I can't buy from them because I don't know that they exist, So it's really, really important that you understand that. And in particular in the context of LinkedIn, because for me, I'm business to business and I get most of my referrals online through LinkedIn and Twitter. So what people do is they go into Google, they put in marketing consultant, digital marketing, something like that, business coach, and they will find me. And they'll be directed to my LinkedIn profile or indeed my Twitter profile as well. Another aspect of marketing and business in general to understand is there's a whole shift away from push, pull, push selling. And there's a mind shift away from telling and selling to building relationships. So if you look at social media in general terms, social media is social by its nature. It's about building the connections, building the relationships, and, building value, helping people out. And that from that, people will get the idea that you're an expert in your area. They'll get to trust you, they'll get to know you, and then they'll buy from you. So it's not sell. It's not 50% off, 50% off. It's buy from me. The old traditional advertising. It's about building relationships, and in particular, LinkedIn is very much about building relationships. So just like I was just speaking about, helpful is the new viral. So, for example, if I write a blog post, if I put up a video, these are, helpful videos of how to do X, Y, and Z. This is being helpful. So people understand, first of all, I'm being helpful, that I'm helping them and I'm doing it for nothing. But equally, that they understand that I can do certain things by putting up certain videos, certain blog posts, and they understand that I'm the expert in the area. So, for example, with marketing, they're more likely to come to me, maybe it might be in a month's time, it might be in 6 months' time, it could be in a year's time, and they'll say, I need to get somebody to help me with say digital marketing, or as a business coach, and they say, what was that lady's name? And I suppose sometimes they've got to backtrack and think, well, where did they see my brand? Where did they find it? They'll go on Google. And, it's all of this sort of thing as to where they find you. So being helpful is really good because people will remember you for it. So if you can be helpful, provide value to people, give top 3 tips how to do, if you're a jeweler, how to clean jewelry. If you're a fruit and veg seller, the top tips as to keep your fruit and veg fresh for longer, whatever it is that you're helpful, and that is the new viral, basically. Okay, also to understand that consumers like to network with people who have interests and desires that are similar to their own. So if you look at this here, so really when I was in sales, basically there's a saying that people like those like them. So in other words, that if you like hurling, if you like football, if you like horses, or you're into swimming, and you meet somebody that has a very similar hobby, you're more likely to get on with them because you've got something that's common to you both. So people like those like them. So in other words, you need to understand the interests and values that your customers or your potential customers have, so that you can share those interests and values and show them that you do understand them. You do understand your customers, you do understand your clients, and you can provide a very good service because you understand them. Okay, LinkedIn then is very important for business to business, primarily, not business to consumer, it's primarily business to business. And the reason for that is it's a professional platform. It's basically your CV online. Very important to have it filled out properly, because basically in terms of search, it means if you have everything filled out properly, you will have keywords in your profile that allows Google and that allows LinkedIn to find you based on those keywords. So it's really important that you fill out your profile properly. But as I said, your LinkedIn profile is your CV online. So when people look at it, they get a sense of who you are. They get a sense of, are you an expert? If you've poor spelling, if you haven't written things out properly, people will get the sense of that you don't really care, there's no attention to detail. So it's very important, very much like a CV, that you do take great care with your LinkedIn profile. What I find is that people might have heard of me, they might have got a referral of me from somebody, and then they'll go online and they'll search. And typically they'll find my LinkedIn profile or my Twitter profile. And basically they will then verify that I am who I say I am, by looking at my LinkedIn profile. Another important aspect of LinkedIn is that you can be introduced to business contacts. So for example, you might have a connection, and in their connections, you want to be introduced to somebody, and you can ask them to do that. So that's a really, really important facility. Oftentimes when we want to speak to particular people, like a CEO of a particular business, for example, or really anybody we can't typically get their contact details for. So you might ring a secretary and they'll say, oh, who are you, what do you want? And you might really need to speak to that person. You might have the product or service that would really help them, but because their gatekeeper, i.e. their secretary, might stop you from contacting them, you may never get to speak to them. Whereas with LinkedIn, you can actually introduce yourself and you can send them an email, which is basically an email on LinkedIn. So that's a really important facet of LinkedIn. If you're a business owner and you are a supplier of certain products, you could potentially send an email or an email to a potential customer and let them know what you do. And that can be really important. And this is through LinkedIn. Recommendations, I mentioned them already. So other people can recommend you on LinkedIn, okay? And this is really important because, as I said, when people are making that buying decision, they will look for other people's opinions. If you have lots of recommendations, or at least a few, and these people are saying you're great, you're super, the person buying from you or potentially buying from you will know that they're making the right decision. So it's really important that you focus on getting recommendations, and on LinkedIn to understand that you need to ask for them, okay? So this is where you need to put yourself out there and you need to actually ask for recommendations. So that's really, really important. You can get referrals through LinkedIn, so other people can refer you. And this is really where you're building relationships with people, that you're contacting them, on a fairly regular basis, be it offline and online through LinkedIn. And that, if you need to be referred to somebody else, or if you want to refer somebody else on, you might say, my accountant is really good to one of your suppliers, why don't you try him? You're referring them, and vice versa. You're hoping that your business, your service, your product will be referred as well. So LinkedIn is excellent for generating business. Okay, A couple of stats then. LinkedIn is the top social network, as I said, for B2B marketing. 83% of marketers say they prefer to use LinkedIn for distributing B2B content. So if you've got a blog to write, if you've got anything that's of relevance to the B2B market, the business to business market, you need to put it out on LinkedIn because your customers are there. And people, you can see from the Real Business Rescue that people say that half of their vendors say they've generated sales through LinkedIn. And how? Through putting up posts, through creating content, through engaging with people on LinkedIn. You will develop relationships that will result in business, result in sales, and that's obviously where it's at. Okay, the average time spent on LinkedIn per month is 17 minutes. So it's not like Facebook where people are in it every day typically, but on average. And that's quite low, but if you look at it as an average and there's 322 million people on it, it may not be typical. I think really people spend longer on it, but it just goes to show that the average is at least 17 minutes, and that's significant enough. Okay, 91 of the Fortune 100 companies, and that's important, use LinkedIn. So it's really, really business orientated. That's where people are at. Again, it's very much a professional network. I am, duplicating some of this, but just to make sure that you understand that, apologies for that LinkedIn is a professional network. It's really, really important to understand that. Again, it's your CV online, and it has 322 million people as it stands on it. So it's a very important platform not to be overlooked, because really at present I find that LinkedIn is overlooked. People think, how can it help me? I don't understand it. Okay, 2 LinkedIn members per second join LinkedIn. Okay, so it is up and coming. It's growing all the time. So to keep with it. The monthly unique viewers to LinkedIn is 187 million. So the unique viewers are people actually going into it. So it's 187 million, and that's significant as well. So what that means is people are going back to it. They are looking at it. They are engaging with it. They're referring to it. It is a really good platform. LinkedIn then has 20 different languages. It's available in 20 different languages, and that's significant because it's a global platform. It's not just in the United States. It's not just in Europe. It's a global platform, and you can reach people in many countries. So, questions to ask yourself is your LinkedIn profile incredible? Is it really good? Will people buy from you? What do they think of you? So if you are doing your LinkedIn profile or have it done already, get people to look at it. Get them to say, I think it's good. You could maybe change a couple of things just to make it better. Okay, you want to put out a really, really good profile that people will have a very good impression of you and want to buy from you, basically. So will it encourage people to buy from you? Will they get a good sense of who you are? Or are they more confused than ever? So be very careful of the wording, the spelling, and so on in terms of your LinkedIn profile. Does it tell what you stand for? What it is you do? Some people, particularly in the service industry, are not clear on what they do. So people are not sure. So they can't buy from you because they don't understand exactly what it is you do. Will they understand that you're an expert in your field? Do you put that across? Do you portray it? Don't be shy. Tell them. Okay. 40% of LinkedIn users checked LinkedIn daily. If you include a photo, you increase viewership of your profile by 11%. So that's quite significant. LinkedIn reaches over 200 countries, and the number of LinkedIn endorsements is over 1 billion. Okay, and the average number of connections for a CEO, for somebody leading a company, is 930. A lot of small to medium business owners that I meet, it's approximately 200, maybe around 100. So what I'm saying is, in order for you to amplify your message, in order for it to get out there, you need to have as many connections as you can. And that's a really important facet. So you need to be building on your connections. You need to be working with people. That's really, really important. The percentage of LinkedIn users outside the US is 65%. And just the reason I put that there is because I've a lot of people interested in this webinar who are not based in the US. And basically a lot of people question different social media or different platforms because they say it's very US based. And if their clients are in Europe, they do not want to focus on platforms that are primarily US based. So what that suggests is that 65% of users of LinkedIn are outside the United States, and therefore in the UK, in Ireland, in Europe in general, and in the world in general. Okay, male users. 56% of people on LinkedIn are male, 44% are female. So just to understand that male-female not divide, but male-female usership and whether that affects your target market and how you market yourself on LinkedIn. A really important statistic as well is to look at is 90% of LinkedIn users make the household decisions. So they're the buyers. So that's where they're at. So it's very important you understand that. The percentage of LinkedIn users that don't have a Facebook account are 13%. They're just on LinkedIn. The percentage of LinkedIn users that don't have a Pinterest account are 83%. The percentage of LinkedIn users that don't have a Twitter account is 59%. So I suppose the point here is that people are potential customers are on different platforms. Just because you're on Facebook does not mean all your clients are on Facebook. Just because you're on Twitter does not mean all your clients or potential clients are on Twitter. And a lot of people, particularly in the professional sphere, they don't like a lot of social media and therefore they're not on them, but they are on LinkedIn because it's a professional platform. Okay, again, sorry, that's wrong. It's 322 million people are on LinkedIn. 74% of college degrees. $109,000 is the average household salary. So they've got disposable income. They're the decision makers. It's actually 91 out of 100 Fortune 100 companies are hiring from LinkedIn. And that's another important aspect of LinkedIn, is that if you're looking for a job, that you will be found on LinkedIn. So if you know of anybody looking for a job and they're sending out their CV, please put their CV up on, or their details up on LinkedIn, create a profile, because recruiters are searching for you on LinkedIn. I get sent jobs every day. And it's all marketing jobs because that's what I do. My whole LinkedIn profile is around marketing. Therefore, I get sent marketing jobs. If it's around accountancy, I get sent accountancy jobs and so on and so forth. So if you're looking for a job, LinkedIn, you need to have a LinkedIn profile. Again, it's all B2B. Another important aspect to understand as well, particularly from a sales point of view, or if you want to email people, is you can export all the email details, all the details into a CSV file or into Excel. Okay, so that's really important. And then from there, you can email people because you have all their details. Okay, groups on LinkedIn then are a wonderful opportunity. They're industry specific. Typically, people like those like them, like I said earlier. So basically, you find that you can go into groups, you can get the most up-to-date information in terms of your industry. A great way to network online. Also, you can create a group that's relevant to your business. And this is kind of establishing you as an expert. Again, it's very important that you do that. You can invite your contacts. They can refer to you. You're the go-to person. You can create value articles for others. Establish yourself as the expert. And this is very much around the professional service areas. If you're a solicitor, if you're an accountant, if you're a marketeer, professions like that you can create a group and it positions you in a certain way on different platforms. So you want people to like and share your articles, and so from there, if you've got a group, you've got like ready-made people that are there that like what you do and are more likely to like and comment and share on it. Make sure you add a LinkedIn share button to your website. Make sure you add a LinkedIn share button to your blog. And what that does is it just makes it easy for people to share your content online. You're linked to LinkedIn, so that's very important. As a group owner, you receive approximately 4 messages a week, or you should send out at least 4 messages a week, and you email the group once a week as well. So that's just kind of a guiding principle if you're creating a group. One really, really important aspect of LinkedIn is your professional headshot with a smiling picture. So it's really important that you have a professional headshot with just headshot and shoulders, and that it's smiling. And the reason it's smiling, it makes you seem approachable. I've kind of been serious throughout this presentation. Some people might take that as you're, not that you're not easy to work with, but it's harder to get to know you. If you're smiling more, people find that you're easier to work with, and they're more likely to want to work with you. So it's something very small in one aspect, and in the other aspect, people make snap decisions all the time. So it's very important that you have a professional smiling headshot. And to use this actually for all of your social media, not just for LinkedIn. No holiday snaps, please. It just gives the wrong impression. It is a professional network. Having good smiling photo makes you seem approachable and easy to work with. As I said, potential customers make snap decisions every day. One look at your profile and they make a decision to stay or go. So it's really, really important to invest in a professional headshot. Make your profile inviting, that they stay and they look further and they email you or ring you and make a sale. The other thing to look at as well is, particularly when you start out on LinkedIn, is people fill out their whole profile and they forget to publish it. So make sure that you publish it. Really, really important. Your profile will have the following headlines. You put in your picture, like I said, you've got a summary. The summary is really like a cover letter. So it allows you to just give a snapshot of what you do. It's really important because essentially people might not go any further. So you need to get across very quickly what it is you do. On your LinkedIn profile, you have your past positions, your education, you've got a headline beside your picture as to what you do. It tells about your current position, your skills, what you're interested in. You can have certifications, your languages that you have, volunteer experience. So it gives a real good rounded view of who you are, and people can base their decisions to buy from you based on your profile. So fill it out, okay? You can see here just a print screen of honours and awards, test scores, patents, if you've got patents, courses that you've done, organisations, volunteering opportunities. So it gives a really good sense of who you are. Again, like I said, your summary is really, really important. I can't say that enough. It's essentially your CV cover letter. Make sure you give people a clear idea of what it is you do. Use keywords that people may find you through search. And just remember that when people are scrolling down, they may not scroll any further. So it's very important that your summary is filled out and correct. Remember, some people will only read the summary. As I said, I'm repeating myself, apologies. They may not scroll down. Sell yourself well. Okay, you can see here I just have a quick snapshot and I'll show you in a few minutes just my own LinkedIn profile. And I'm basically saying on my summary, it is actually longer than this, but this is kind of the snapshot. I'm a business and marketing coach. I have a combination of 15 years experience and an academic background, which gives me a unique perspective when advising you on your business. So that just kind of, it should give, a very quick idea of what it is I do. So for some people, they're gone. For some people, they stay, okay, that sounds interesting, and they read further. So just to be aware of that. You can also add documents, photographs, links, videos, presentations. So again, that can amplify what it is you do, but the core part is here, give people an incentive to look further, okay? Also to look at a good heading beside your photograph. So this lets people know what you do. So for example, if you're the owner of a business, if you're the CEO, if you are in ceramics, if you're a florist, whatever it is that you do, let people know. If it's blank, how can people find out what you do? They may not look any further than just your profile picture. So the profile picture and heading are shown all the time on LinkedIn. That's what people see. So in order for them to invite them to look at more, please put a good heading. Make sure your email contact details are available. That's really important because, again, if people want to contact you, make it easy for them. If it's not there, they may go and Google it and might find it hard to find you, and then they're gone, they'll go to somebody else. So it's very, very important you do that. When in business, make sure you include your website details on LinkedIn and Twitter account details so that people can find you. Like I was saying earlier, it's information acquisition. So what you find is somebody might have gone to your website first, then they may go to your LinkedIn profile, or they may go to your LinkedIn profile first, then to your website, then to Twitter. They might go to Facebook. They might look at your products, your services. They'll have different ways of information acquisition. And so you need to make it easy for them to find the different shop windows. And that's really what they are. These platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, website, any other online information you have, it is a shop window for people to get to know you. And if they like what they see, they'll come back to you, they'll buy from you. So always make it easier for customers to find you. Really, really important. Okay, this is just a snapshot of my LinkedIn profile. And essentially you can see I have a smiling headshot. I'm Emma D. I'm on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. I'm on all the social media really. So just to give people an idea. Because what I find is some people love one over the other, really, really important. It's smiling, it's about making me approachable, that people would like to work with me. That's really important. You can see here, these are some of the letters beside my name in terms of a Master's in Marketing, and a BBS is Bachelor in Business Studies, and that I'm an owner of a business. So my business is Emma D Marketing. The funny thing is, being an owner of a business, like if I didn't put that there, it means that people that are looking for business owners don't find me. And it's kind of a funny thing that sometimes people want to find the head honcho. So they want to find the CEO, they want to find the business owner, and they will come to you just on that basis. So I have found that a very valuable term to use. So business owner, you don't have much space to write things, you've got to keep it quite short. So owner. And M&D marketing, so people will find that these are all keywords, so remember that. Digital marketing strategist, social media trainer. These are kind of keywords I want to be found at the moment. Business coach, which I have left out at the moment, but I shall be putting in quite shortly. So again, if you've got new products coming online, you can put maybe a heads up here. You can put hashtags, that can work really well as well. I'm CMO, which is Chief Marketing Officer at Fun Kid Days and app, and I'm a speaker. So that's to give people an idea that, if you're looking for speakers on marketing, that I am available. So you've got to be quite succinct in what you do and let people know, because what they see is your profile, as in they see your little picture and they see your name and they see what you do. And, when they're looking through LinkedIn in general, you need to make, oh, that looks interesting. And they click in and they look. It shows my current positions, also the industry I'm in, so marketing and advertising, if it's accountancy, whatnot. Again, these are key search terms. Make sure that you tick these, that you let people know what industry you're in. It shows previous, it shows my education, it shows I have 500 plus connections. And for some people, they need that social proof. They need to understand that you're well connected, that you network well, that you are well connected, that you're well known in business. So that number actually for some people is really important. My contact information, if you click in there, it shows my email and phone number. Again, that's really important that people can find me easily. Things about your profile to look out for: don't use abbreviations. Others may not know, bad spelling on my part, what they mean. So abbreviations for your industry, abbreviations for your business that you use, you know what they are, people might know what they are. So please don't confuse them, write it out. Make sure you state what industry you're in, like I was just showing you. Otherwise, you will not turn up in search for your specific industry. Same for Google search. Ensure you have no typing errors, which I just have up here. That's really important. Again, it shows that you put time and care into it, and apologies for that, but it just goes to show how easy it is to forget. Give prospective clients an idea of the scope of your experience. So for example, I do a lot of different things, social media, business coach, but I suppose I focus mainly on being a business coach. So I help people, I help them to make money in the smartest way possible. But I need for people to understand the scope of what I do, because otherwise sometimes they just focus on social media, they focus on one aspect, whereas you might actually have a few. If you don't include it, how will they know? So that's really important to tell people. LinkedIn groups, as I was saying earlier, are an excellent means of networking online with specific groups that are of interest to you. For example, I subscribe to marketing, business and tech groups. I like, comment and share articles, engage and interact. So I'm, building relationships. People get to see me, they get to know me, they get to understand who I am. It amplifies my profile, my message, and ensures that people in my own industry get to see and recognize me. And also their connections as well. There's always that multiplier effect in social media. It's really, really important. And it allows you to keep up to speed with newer technologies. So it's great being involved in these different groups. You can have up to 50 groups, no more. Okay, so just so you understand that. As I said earlier, creating your own LinkedIn as group. Again, I'm reiterating some of these points, but just because they're important. You become the go-to person for knowledge in your area. This allows you to network and market yourself online. What I have found is, personally, in my experience, that people meet you offline and then they will go and check you online. Or more recently, in the last couple of years, it's a case of people meet you online on various different platforms, and then you get to meet them in real life. So they get a good idea of who you are online. I've met clients, and because of what I post on different platforms, one lady said to me, I really feel like I know you. And she'd never actually met me physically before. How did she feel that? Because of what I post online. She got a sense of who I am and what I stand for. So it's really, really important what you post. The tone of it, the content is really important. If you want to get more targeted referrals, to be recommended, look at who your clients know on LinkedIn. So can you be referred? You might say, oh, I see so-and-so is in marketing, but one of their connections, actually, I can really help them. So you ask for referrals, So sometimes you're doing a bit of detective work there, was when you're going into your clients and seeing who are their connections as well, and can you be introduced to them. That's a really important aspect. It's prospecting, really. It's sales. Make a list of who you would like to be introduced to. Be a thought leader in your industry. These are things to consider when you're doing your LinkedIn profile. Create influential content. So if you've got opinions, if you've written any articles, please put them out on LinkedIn. It's really, really important. If you don't have content, you can share, comment, and like other people's. And what that will do for you is people will see your name, they'll see your brand, they will get a sense of who you are based on what you're liking, commenting, and sharing. Okay, so if you are not creating content, it does not mean you can't interact and engage on LinkedIn. As I said, you can share, you can comment, you can like other people's, and your name will still be seen. Okay. Target prospects. So you get to see all of the clients, your clients' clients, and so on and so forth. So you can target certain people. So this is really going back to what I started with, is having a plan. Who do you want to be talking to? Who's your target market? What's going on? Build a community. So build a community of like-minded people, become the go-to person, nurture relationships. So these are all really, really important aspects of LinkedIn. Okay. It's not just about visuals like on social media, but strengthening your message, letting people know who you are. Okay, collaboration is really important. So if you collaborate with other people, they can refer you on. That can be really important as well online. So in other words, if you're in a group, if you've created a group, if you put out content that people are liking, commenting, and sharing, they're collaborating. It's people working together to push out your message more. Again, it's about building relationships. Now, this is not the end of the presentation. I'm just going to switch to LinkedIn and show you a couple of things. So just bear with me. So we just go into LinkedIn and I will quickly run through a couple of things. So you can see this in my current LinkedIn profile, the picture I was showing you earlier. This is the home page. The home is kind of like the community page, like all social media. So if you scroll down, you will see, if somebody has new connections, if somebody has blog posts or different things on, congratulations on a new job, so on and so forth. You can like, comment, and share different things. You get to see what's going on in your network and engage and interact with people. So that's really important. Now my screen just froze. So up we go. So other things to look at are your profile. So these are all the drop-down menus on the top if you follow the cursor, left to right. So I'm looking at home. I've just shown you profile, then you can edit it. So if you need to make any changes, you can see who's viewed your profile and you can see your updates. If you've posted anything, it will show as well. Your connections, you can keep in touch with them. You can add connections. Because LinkedIn is very much around people that have been to college, like I said, there's a high proportion of people who are on LinkedIn that were in college or are in college. They have a Find Alumni button. It goes on about education, your university finder, field of study explorer. Again, you can find like-minded people, university rankings. If you're making a decision on doing a course, there's a lot of graduates here, so that's why that's there. Jobs, if you need a job, if you want to post a job, if you're an employer, you can do that here. Your interests then. This is where you put your company profile. You can have groups, you can create groups, and Pulse. Pulse is where you can follow, people in different industries, different articles. It's a really, really good place to find really good articles about different industries. I would well recommend, looking at Pulse. And what I do is I sign up for things got to do with education, marketing, technology, and so forth. And I get really, really good articles there that I can have a look at once a week or once every 2 weeks whenever I have a chance. And it gives me a very good sense of what's going on in that industry. Really, really terrific articles. Okay, people often ask me in terms of companies, having your company profile. Yes, I would put it up. Is it super important? I would say your own personal profile is more important. I have run other people's accounts for them. I have found that people connect with people, not necessarily with companies, there's that whole corporate thing. And so they want to connect with you, with the person. So basically, I would focus more on your professional profile. Yes, have a company profile so that you can be found through search, but I wouldn't mainly focus on it. Now, LinkedIn are trying to push it, but in terms of making a decision about putting time and effort into it, I would focus more on your personal, but yes, to have one. Okay, so you can see here with groups as well. I'll just click into it. The internet is a bit slow, so apologies. And basically, while I'm waiting for that to go there, it clicks in. So I have 49 groups. I can take a tour if I want to see around that. If they've got different things going on, I can see them. Instagram posts generate 120 times more engagement, different things, different groups I'm involved in. If I say view more, because I've got quite a lot, and if I scroll down, I try to do this quite quickly just so I can show you as much as I can. And here you can see at the end, they don't make it very user friendly in terms of that, but you've got to scroll down. You can find a group, you can search, or you can create a group. So if you want to create a group, that's where you go from. And it's extremely easy there. It's very intuitive. They tell you what to fill out. You can make that group private, where people have to ask to join, or you can make it public, whichever you wish. Again, if that's what you want to do, establish yourself as an expert. Pulse then, jobs I spoke about, education, connections, keep in touch, your profile. So basically what you do is you click into your profile, for example, when it eventually shows up. Okay, so you can see here, other people have endorsed me for business development, digital strategy management, brand management, and corporate branding. I can add these to my profile if I wish. At the moment, I'm just going to leave them. My profile strength is all star. So basically I filled it out correctly. So you can, if you look there at your profile strength on the right hand side, you can see with my cursor, it will tell you how effectively you filled out your profile. Okay, so if you've forgotten to fill in things, it will let you know and recommend that you fill them out. Okay, you can see here again, like I spoke earlier, if I come away from it with my cursor, I just see what I've typed up. If I hover, it shows these pencil marks. The pencil marks, if you click in, will allow you to change any aspect of it. Okay, so I can change this. I can change marketing and advertising. I can change my photograph. I can change, all of these aspects. If you look at my contact info, it shows where you can email. It shows Twitter, who I'm connected with. My personal website, you can show my phone number, so you can contact me easily. So that's really, really important, because that's how people get in contact with you, And I'm gonna just put this out here. It's not really, my internet is not really working properly for some reason. It's quite slow, so bear with me. We're hanging. It's really, really great. Internet in Ireland, I'm afraid. While I'm waiting for that to move, you can see here, keeps moving quickly. So that's your profile. You can see who's viewed your profile. This can be really interesting as well if you're looking to connect with certain people, or if you've been to a conference or something, and you can see who's looking at your profile. You can send them a message then perhaps to connect with them, or you can suggest perhaps, can I help you, and so on. You can see here as well, 76 profile views in the last 90 days, 3 viewers found me through LinkedIn. Contacts, so that's how people are finding me through their LinkedIn contacts. So like I was saying earlier, doing a bit of research or nosiness, whatever you want to call it, through your own contacts. Who are they connected to? They found me. 1 viewer who works at Ern's Consulting Group found me, and 3 viewers with the title corporate trainer. So it's kind of just showing me in December, obviously with the holidays, it was down, then it was back up again in January, then it was kind of down a bit. So you can see there's fluctuations when people are looking at your profile, and that can help you, decide to put out more articles and whatnot, depending on what the results are. So then I can see who's been looking at my profile. So Breda English Hayes looked at it, Philip Clark, Katarina Callahan is a friend of mine with Google, and Deborah Silva. Now, there were 71 people who viewed me. In order for me to see more, I need to pay. So at the moment, I'm showing you the unpaid version. I have tried premium, and to be honest, for me, I didn't need it. So it really depends on whether you need it. If you're doing a lot of sales and you want to be connected to more people, it allows you to send more messages, more in-mails, which are emails within LinkedIn. It allows you to send them. So if you were set on doing that, and also just to recommend that I have gone in, I have paid for a month and come out of it and unconnected. So you're not signed in for a year if you wanted to do that. Okay. Just trying to think of other things that are really, really important to look at with LinkedIn. And again, this is kind of really an introduction, if you like, to LinkedIn, just to give you a sense of what you can do and what's important. Really, I would recommend sitting down with somebody, getting them to look over your profile and how it's set up and what it does. And also to get, start connecting with people, to start building relationships, engaging with them, interacting with them. Okay, if you're putting up data yourself, you can share an update. You can see up here, so I'll just come out of that. So beside my profile picture, you can see to the right, you can share an update, pretty much like you can do on Facebook and whatnot. You can add a file, or you can write. So you can write something there. If you go down here, just underneath it, you can see you can share with the public, or hit those arrows, or I can share with the public and Twitter. So I've linked my Twitter account to LinkedIn. I can also just share it with my connections if I want to as well. Now, if I wanted to do a blog post, which I can, create an article on LinkedIn, look at the pencil, create a post, and hit that. Click it, I should say. And you can see here, it's very much like a blog post. You can publish it, you can delete it, save it, publish it. You can add your really good image here. Your own image will come up here, so it looks really nice there. You can write your headline. So you're writing articles, I could write marketing articles and whatnot here. You can start writing, tagging, so search words here. You can add pictures, center it, bullet list, embed, and publish it then if you wish, or save it and come back to it later. Really, really important way of establishing yourself as an expert. So that's great. And just publish then if you want to publish it. Other things to look at then are, you see here, these up here, this is the search. So if you want to search for somebody or connections for people, jobs, companies, groups, universities, posts, inbox, you search here. Advanced if you need that. You can see here there's kind of emails, so people can send me emails. And this guy, he's saying, hi, Emma, I'm writing to you because we are directly connected on LinkedIn and he feels like we could do something together. This guy's a new website. So you can email or in-mail people like this. So this is a way of doing that. So they'll directly see it. They'll say your picture. So I can reply, I can delete, go into it. The flags then are people that you're connected to. Marianne Connor has published a new post. Breed English Hayes is now a connection, and so on and so forth. It shows you more recently what's going on in your network. It shows you within 21 hours, 4 days. So you can see the traffic is not as much as on Facebook, for example, on LinkedIn. You can see here there's the little head, and I've got 11 there over it in red. And really what that is basically people that want to connect with me. So as I have got more connections, people want to connect with me. So I need to go and look at them. Deborah Silva, I'm connected with her online through other groups on Facebook. Sean Dolan, I don't know him, but he's in social media. Neve Cahill, a lot of marketing people want to connect with me, funny enough. And I can say yes or no. I'll go through them later. So that's where people want to connect with you, and you can say yes or no. So a couple of things to point out before I finish up is that here you can see people you may know. So if you want to connect with others, you can click in here and you can connect if you wish, or if you know them, make sure you know them. The whole point is that you know them. You've been to networking events, you've been to conferences. Again, you can see who's viewed your profile. You can also see your LinkedIn network, how many you have. So I have 1,061 connections. And what that says here is that my message can potentially be amplified through these connections to 11,406,936 professionals. Now, what that means is I'm connected to these connections, but equally I'm connected to their connections too. So it's kind of like a multiplier effect, that's what I call it. So you can see here groups you may like, they're suggesting them, companies I may want to follow, people again I may know, and there's some ads there on LinkedIn. So, you can see all that sort of stuff as well. So LinkedIn is a terrific platform for connecting with people on a professional basis. Really, really good. I would highly recommend it. You need to engage with people, you need to interact with people, and it's a super way. And I hope today has helped you to get an indication, an introduction to LinkedIn, what's important for you as an employee, probably more so as a business owner, how you can use LinkedIn to market your business and to market yourself. It's really, really important. And also remember, even if you've got product, why not put them up here? Share an update, share a blog post about your jewelry, share a post about your fruit and veg, or if you're a florist or whatever it is, because these people have money, There's not that much ads going on here really. So it's a good place to put it. They've got disposable income. They're not expecting to see it here, and they might be in a better frame of mind to buy, so don't forget that aspect of LinkedIn as well. Okay, so I need to sign off. I hope this has been really helpful to people. If you'd like to contact me, my name is Emma Darcy at Emma D Marketing, or Emma at emmadmarketing.ie. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I will be doing more webinars on different subjects in relation to business and marketing. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you.